Hello and welcome. This is going to be the Daily Dharma. Thank you so much for joining. I do have the pole barn open to the elements, so I apologize for any road noise or if any animals decide to fly in here. Today I want to go and do what I did yesterday on the reading, if you caught that. I want to take this deck here, this Sacred Earth Oracle, I believe it's called. Again, all decks are going to be in the description box. And what I'd like to do is get the whole thing into 4 piles and then take the top card, but we have 2 flying out. We'll use these as some overall energy. Okay. So we have the Productivity card. That one has a lot to say to me whenever I see it. It's very Empress-like, but then this image right here looks very much like the Prosperity card in one of the code card deck. And then we have Revision, which looks like a healing process for me. Somebody who's possibly, this is a dragon in the foreground, either hatching out of an egg, but right now it's almost looking like it could be something else. I was originally having the impression of a death, so my condolences again if that is a real thing for you right now. But on the symbolic level, I believe that this is a transition in the self, how we are, an ending to a way of being. So with productivity here, I often notice that little girl, and I think that it's very Empress-like, the advanced Empress who's already a mother. Now, of course, you may not identify with that. You may identify with being the child or the protector energy in this card, but whether or not you're a female, you can see this parenting energy as nurturing your own inner child, protecting and providing for your own inner child. Because when I see this, it's this beautiful, fertile garden, but then there's this enormous bloom, and in the moment, the protector adult figure appears to have her enormous sleeve tucked around this individual. Like yesterday, we had the imagery of angelic wings coming all the way around and embracing and shielding a small child or something like that. And so it's almost as though she's like, I'm not sure, this is a new glorious plant, but because of its colors, it could be poisonous. We want to look at this. Or it could be medicine, and maybe it could be a little bit of both. And so to me, it always ends up being like somebody who is working with those energies of healing self, and this also with that release point, it's like showing the way that healing journey looks to others that are perhaps more childlike in their response to us versus us seeming like we've got it all together on the surface, like we've got an abundant lifestyle, but in our own world, when we have dark times, they are still dark. They are still challenging and painful at times. And this can show like our own ability to transmute that pain and to come back every time. Now, under the deck, when we had those split off, is the Heat card. This one's a very interesting card. There's those enormous wings, but it's very fiery, very I don't know, for some may resonate with hot, feeling hot in the night because there's that dark background, hot flashes or passion that has you heated up without some type of release here. So it can be pent up inspiration as well, some type of project or objective or goal that seemingly you've been at this for quite a long time. And maybe although your productivity has been immense and your efforting has been immense and creates exhaustion and fear or doubt upon whether you're on the right track here, it seems like things are just getting good, and that as things are heating up here, that there's going to be something coming forward. I feel like I was just about to say something else and lost track. Under the deck here, we've got moderation. I love that with the hummingbirds. Can be some ancestral support coming in for you, some type of motherly support from beyond the veil. Someone who has passed away could be a mother in spirit. Now, I did say I was going to take this as 4. Let's do 3 instead. Just because it's the number of the feminine in the deck, the Empress energy. So on the first pile, we have motion. It definitely looks like somebody who's sleeping, like they're dreaming, sleeping, restless, tossing, turning, having something come through the dreamscape that is something that isn't necessarily seen during the waking state. And maybe your dreams are confusing. The characters or the places that you're at when things are going on seems confusing. But if you can take the time to look into all of the elements that are coming up in the dream as your own symbol language. I mean, look at what other people say too, but take the context and meditate on your own. And under that one, clarity. There we go. Something to do with I see this as someone who sees quite a bit more than they were given credit for from a young age, being quite intuitive, psychic, and being, whether it's gaslit or just shut down in some way, it wasn't spoken about. But now these issues are working through your dream space. And so I'm remembering the thing I was about to say. So this productivity and the revision card, it's like, even though you may have been very productive and very much into your efforting, then there may be something coming full circle that you thought was a lost opportunity. You'd made a presentation, and now there's suddenly a spark or a chance meeting where your idea or your email gets kind of resurfaced and recirculated, and there's an opportunity here for you to be reconsidered for some type of project or engagement here. So on the second pile, let's see what's here. First one, unity. I'm seeing this as is the heat card over here. No? Okay. So there it is. Look at that heat card compared to this one. It's like the heat is like coming full circle, and here we have that embrace from spirit coming around the entire earth. It's like the divine timing for something like this to come in, some type of work that you're doing, perhaps for the world or humanity, service work in some type of a way here. And what's under that? Revolution. I love that. So this may be that black sheep energy where that your voice not being developed, your intuition not being respected or regarded from an early age. And it's like the heat is turned up in some type of a manner. And I'm seeing that you have somewhat turned your back on certain ideas or doubters or individuals who represented this infringement on your inner respect and value. I'll just leave that as that. Under this deck, we have this is giving me chills. I saw this was very close to coming out yesterday, but didn't, and we had all of that sunlight energy blowing through the third eye of the perception card, which didn't look that dynamic yesterday, but this is how I was seeing that, and I had forgotten this card was here. But here it shows itself, and there's that heat. It's that internal healing process that seems to be creating this heat in the night. It's like as these things are moving through your energy body, I want to say, throughout the night, there's this, the turning up the heat is like you resonating with spirit in some type of a way. It's like your response to that embracing light and dark, something like that here. And we'll see if anything else comes out. But I love that Revolution card. And in the moment, it's reminding me of the Mulan. I have seen both of the Disney, the live and the cartoon version, and they both have their pros and their cons, and I won't get into my ideas about that. But I did like the way that that she, well, I didn't like her being discounted, but I liked the way that she rose up from that, and she not only walked in the footsteps and in the shoes of a man's role, she did it well, and she was shown as being not only a proficient, amazing soldier, but being the soldier who had the heart, the integrity, and the clarity to act in the battle and to, win the day on, again, that symbolic level. So let's take a look at this third deck. Underneath the deck, we had preservation. Yes, that's the preservation. The passing on of certain souls that have been important in our journey or to our inner narrative about ourselves. It's like they are part of probably our biological DNA. So let's say that you may have been adopted or fostered or something. There's something here about being on purpose, being even born into some level of even disregard, disrespect, or trauma for some, not all. Don't borrow the story if it's not yours. But this can be happening not in our life, but in the lives of those that have already died, and we didn't possibly know the entire story, or maybe we did. There's so many different groups of individuals, particularly in the US, who have been marginalized, that have a legacy of disregard. And we can talk about even that male-feminine dynamic and how the disregard comes through that Mulan story. And there's something about that is being worked through in the dreamscape, I believe. But I'm just getting a rush over the crown third eye area here. As I'm speaking this, there's some type of symmetry or mimicry in that as the heat being turned up, it's like sometimes that footprints, it's a religious one about God or Jesus walking beside us, and then in those times of deepest need carrying us for a ways, and so the person feels abandoned, but then it's like, but no, that time where there was only one set of footprints, I was carrying you. It's like some type of darkness, and it's like being able to somehow trust and witness that we're being carried across some very vital threshold where there's this turning up the heat is activating the healing, and it's bubbling up that fiery, passionate Kundalini energy. That's what it is. The Kundalini rising up to the heart and inspiring beyond to come forth. And it's some type of creative inspiration or basking in the channeled messages, some type of download activation that's having some amount of clarity process as the chakras are activated to release something incredible. And oh, that reminds me, no wonder. Okay, so this is also the day of the Scorpio full moon, the full pink moon, I believe. And so Scorpio rules the underworld. It rules our passion, death, taxes, sex, and death and rebirth. So it seems that we're talking about a bit of a rebirth process here. This extreme transition into the next phase and what we choose to preserve about ourselves and even about the legacy of those who seemingly were toxic. You know, there's elements that carry forth through us because we are the transmuters, the transcenders, trans-dimensional beings that are able to activate this through some type of motion in our lives, being able to, I think yesterday I called it light bending. It's like the light comes in and it comes through the prismatic crystalline body and reflects and refracts against all of these wounds, objectives, goals, hopes, fears, anxieties, the perplexity and the complexity of each being, each droplet of water in the ocean, the collective psychic ocean, is its own little prism. And our own inner revolution, the revolution away from this into our becoming process. That sense of becoming and being is the revolution necessary, the motions that we take, following those sparks and intuitive nudges to continue to seek more inspiration and more service and more reward even. But it's a deep process, I feel. And we're being told here that moderation is the key. So curbing any indulgence, addiction, codependent behaviors, or comfort zone, comfort seeking. To revolutionize our life, we need to create some type of radical reinvention of self. And it starts with perceiving of the limitless potential and possibilities of self. And then from that point, it begins to influence us at the cellular level. The emotional, energetic level activates the cellular and DNA healing. So as we are able to revise this project or whatever else, it's like we revise the self and then all of a sudden we're a match for something that wasn't a match before. Then we follow those wisps and those inspirations until all of a sudden, boom, we run smack into our destiny or our reward spontaneously. But if we follow the ego and like, oh, well, I just have to work another 10 hours this day, even though I just did, 8. So if you work 18 hours, when are you going to meet your destiny? When are you going to be that magical individual, right? Maybe some can. It depends on the type of work and how you define that, I guess. And all good things, one day it's like go, go, go. Another day it's like that's a rest day. You need to learn to revolutionize and revise your daily approaches to honor the ebb and flow of your own energy, of your own need to sit and reflect upon what's becoming within you. And some of us don't have that luxury because we have the bills and we've gotten ourselves into a situation where we need to take other things into context. But you can program your meditation sometimes even to be like, every 5 minutes that I sit here, please give me exponential as though it were 5 hours in meditation. Help me to walk my life as a meditative practice of breath work, of balancing, of recentering, of grounding and trust and faith and next right action, and so on. 2 out of this. Oh, I like that one. I almost licked my finger. I didn't mean to do that. These are sticky. Okay, perception came out yesterday. It reminds me of that. There was a lady. Is it Frida? She was a figure in women's advocating for women, but wasn't she also, maybe it's two people that I'm confusing, but also another individual that was involved in permaculture gardening, natural gardening, natural practices, earth practices. But yeah, she looks very interesting to me and reminds me in this moment of a cousin that I have in spirit. But anyways, as I got caught up in that, look at this time card here. There are so many things in here about fertility. There's another baby pictured here. So we have a lot of child, offspring energy, conception energy. Oh, and look at her hands. They're making a motion, and she has one hand with the sun and one with the moon. I find that really fascinating, how she's almost like honoring her own yin and yang, but also it's like that somebody might be doing some kind of Tai Chi motion or something, a yoga motion, some type of stretching. But this looks like that wild woman. She's got oats and so many pictures in her hair here. It's like, this is definitely the depiction of an old soul who's connected across timelines. Year of the Rabbit may be something important for you. I see the fertility goddess. I see cave drawings here. Also, I think that might be some type of elk or antelope, moose. I definitely saw the owl earlier and many of these feathers, but she almost looks like in the zone, like she's meditating in the moment, but her eyes are open. It's as though she still has to, do her job. She still has to show up for other individuals. The word teacher came out earlier, but I was just seeing a factory worker as well. It doesn't matter how mundane your life seems to be. It's like we are the ones that can perceive of a way to be multidimensional. And some of that will be, while we're cooking, we can be singing, we can be resetting our energies, we can be listening to some type of inspirational music or guidance, using our time in such a way to assist us to gain clarity, to utilize our time in the right way so that we're not working and efforting so hard to be productive, but our productivity comes as a side shoot or a reward for doing the spiritual psychic work. And I don't want to tell people just sit around and meditate and you're going to win the lotto, because it doesn't work that way in the physics of what we're working with right now. We'll definitely still need to have a foot in each realm, but moderation is like, if you need to get more money, don't necessarily kid yourself to think that you just need 3 jobs, because then you're going to be exhausted and depleted, and you won't be, at the base level, you might not live to enjoy any amount of money that you could store up. It might be more beneficial for some that want more money to simplify their lives, to sell a collection that no longer brings you as much joy, or to I was just thinking about another thing. Well, just paring down the amount of items that you have in your home, or getting some type of vehicle that's less expensive or takes less gas, or if you are in the city, maybe you don't need a car anymore, and then you save on insurance and tires and maintenance and so on, right? There are many potentials and possibilities if we can learn to revise certain approaches. If something is costing too much energetically, emotionally, or monetarily, then it's time to revise and revolutionize our approach here by moderation, simplification, and by moderating our own emotional fluctuations by self care, self love, and by honoring the rhythms of both the flow of the collective and the time, the demands of the situation in the day, as well as our own biorhythms. So in the priest shuffles, I got the Return of Spirit card when the Take Flight card popped out. And those ones are incredibly beautiful. The Return of Spirit deck, that's the namesake of the deck. And on the code cards, I had communication come flying out, and underneath the deck was change, fertility, and synergy. So a change in our growth and abundance and our ability to bloom and to be more creative and spontaneous and inspirational, to be more profitable at the end of the day. There's some type of change of communication, letting others know our boundaries and our limitations, asking or demanding some type of meeting of energies, like maybe you're putting in more than your fair share. Maybe you need more downtime or an additional break if you're going to work an extra shift here and there, something like that. But there's a need for you to communicate and revise what's not working. And I think that you already know what that is. 2 cards popping off here: perception and realization. So something, whether it's coming through in a dream space or a waking dream, a waking meditation, there's some type of idea or some type of faulty belief that you're realizing now you have the power, the capacity to shift. Or maybe you have the skills necessary that now you don't need to have 3 jobs. You can get 1 job that's amazing. Or maybe you can do something yourself on your side time, your hobby that feels timeless and rewarding and restorative, like you're a painter or something like that. And suddenly there's a high demand for your paintings. So you're actually making enough money to supplement by engaging in self-care and passionate hobbies. There's some type of realization of a way that you can nurture and move forward in a new way, revising your artistry and setting a firm example for your children and or future children. And then we have, well, I wanted to also say under the deck we have Mother Earth again, Gaia, and that Unity card here was definitely giving me Gaia vibes here. Unifying ourselves and realizing the skills that we do have that we bring to the table. And then we have 11, belief, under clarity. So putting our beliefs into motion, maybe we do believe something about our psychic sensibilities, and we're recognizing that we don't need to have other people validate our beliefs. We don't need other people to perceive of how productive our time is when we're doing things that don't look like striving. Maybe you have a job that other people aren't familiar with, such as energy work, and it's exhausting from time to time. But I'm being told in the moment that if you're becoming exhausted through your energy work, then you may need to revise that, because your energy work should make you feel inspired and lit up because of, I know I preach this often, but it's a good reminder every time. Because if we're doing it right, then we're filling our cup first, and then we are only gifting forward the overflow from that self-care, from that restorative self. We're not depleting ourselves to give others what we won't give to ourselves, because then you get the spoiled children that don't know how to help. They don't know how to empathize. They're just like, blah blah, you're wasting my time type of a thing. I think I'll just leave that one there. So a couple more here. Transition. There's definitely a transition of belief. A shifting belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So don't give up if you're the teacher with the jaded students. There's some type of transition supporting our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. So something in your life is shifting, asking you to shift as well. And so don't be afraid of dreams that are charged, emotions that crop up. This is all part of assisting us into recognizing our magnetism and our resonance patterns to realize what we need in the moment to move forward. Yes, alchemy came out twice in the pre-shuffle as well. Okay, so Mother Earth is definitely speaking to us. Let's get, if we have time, sometimes the phone camera cuts me off. Facing your fears, number 46, reduces to a 10, which is a closing, a final full cycle. Look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. That belief in self that doesn't need to be validated. So facing our fears is happening in the nighttime. And what flew out? 2 of them. Every step counts came out the other day. Every little step is moving us closer. And that's a 10. There's an advantage in taking things slowly, moderation. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. And in the light of the moon, with the Scorpio full moon, a full moon can shine light on what you have been resisting. This can be anything from your fears to your soul's beauty. Absolutely. Take such good care of yourself with these Scorpio waters, and I'm going to try to get some zodiac readings out as well for you folks, so that you can see what your sign is calling for you to look at. So take care, and check out those other 2 readings if you are interested in those, and check back for more. Thanks, guys.